Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Riverside Oval, the home of the Port Adelaide Rugby Club. I'll be joined in commentary today by Phil Badcock. The man loves his rugby and he loves talking about it. Welcome, Phil.
G'day, Dave. Yeah, nice to be here with you.
I see you've got your Wallabies hat on today. The tickets have gone on sale. Did I see the tickets go on sale? I did see the tickets go on sale.
And apparently, if anybody wants to get the tickets, they best get in quick because the good seats are going fast.
Yeah, I follow a lot of the clubs on Facebook, so a lot of them are talking about bulk buying as well. So it should be an absolutely wonderful afternoon. We're getting very, very close to it as well. Just while we're here, the weather today, it says 15 degrees, feels like cool once that sun goes in. The sun's nice, but when the sun goes away, it's cold.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see much more of the sun by the look of it, so it's going to be a chilly afternoon.
But the good news is we are past the shortest day of the year. The days are getting longer now, so we are on the relentless march to summer, Phil, which I can't wait for, to be honest. It's been horrible the last couple of weeks.
When summer comes, rugby season's over, so I don't want that to happen too quick.
Been stuff to look forward to. Soccer World Cup. Shouldn't probably talk about that, actually. But having a look at the lineups for Port and Elizabeth, I talked to you before we got to this game. I think this is going to be an interesting one. Port obviously last week had a at Onparinga. It's never an easy place to go.
Mm-hmm.
They were 33 points to 7 down at half time and ended up winning at 42 points to 33. Which is
big second half.
That's a massive second half. 42 points. So leaving Onparinga pointless in the second half. It's an impressive outing for the boys. Elizabeth to Brighton. We talked about tactically Brighton just got it right last week.
So yeah, Elizabeth got off to a really, really good start, and then you could see Brighton wanted possession. They wanted field position. They worked the ball into a good field position, turned penalties into scrums. The scrums in the red zone, gained more penalties, couple of yellow cards, and they just wore down until they took the ascendancy and won the game. It was a cracker game, though.
Yeah, I mean, that puts Elizabeth in third. I mean, they were up to the heady heights of second and knocking on the door of first. Burnside are probably going to get the bonus point win to Adelaide University. Brighton versus South could be one to look at, but it's between Elizabeth and Burnside at the moment for that second chance final. As we stand, we're over the halfway point, the traditional halfway point of the season, which is the Queen's birthday weekend. So there's a lot to play for still between these two teams.
And I think this is going to be a really, really close game, closer than they currently sit on the premiership table.
I mean, and Port are only 5 points off that fourth place position anyway. Onparinga travelling to Woodville today, so again, you probably put the sensible money on Onparinga getting points, but yeah, a very, very shaky week last week, and it's going to be interesting. This year. Normally, you look at the fixtures and you look at the league and you go, well, like, which one of the four is going to finish where in the top four?
Yeah, you wouldn't know at the moment, though.
This year is different. I mean, the top four of Brighton, Burnside, South and Old Collegians both on 26 points, 1 point behind Onparinga, and then Port Adelaide on 22. Then you go back 11 points to Woodville and Adelaide Uni propping it up, but we love Adelaide Uni. We never want them to change. Older than the rugby union, they are very quick to tell you. But basically 1 to 7.
It is, yeah, it is, and everybody's improving too, I think, as the season progresses. So you just wouldn't know who's going to, come up trumps in some of these games.
No, and like I said, there are upsets there. I mean, we've seen Woodville play a couple of times this year, and I feel that Woodville certainly can cause problems.
Yep.
But today, Port Adelaide versus Elizabeth, so it is 3rd versus 7th. They are separated by 9 points, so certainly can close the gap between each other. But I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, we talked before, I think this is going to be a very interesting today between these two clubs. Certainly watching the reserve grade game, it was a very free-flowing and open game.
Yeah, I think with the number of Islanders in the team, we could only expect and look forward to that. But who knows? They could change their style. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. It's going to be a cracker. I don't think there'll be too many. Be a pretty hard game.
I think it will be. It's certainly going to be interesting. I mean, we talked about Elizabeth's discipline. Port Adelaide also missing the very influential Terry Coe, because he got a red card a couple of weeks ago, so he's suspended. Your disciplinary issues that we've seen over the weeks are certainly well documented, so it could go one way or the other.
They've got to keep things in track in that area.
So Tui Vasa will start us off, attacking the clubhouse, the left of your screen. Port Adelaide in their traditional black and white hoops. Elizabeth in the newly designed red, white and blue shirts. Elizabeth. They'll look away to that far side. Inside step will miss the first tackle. Manages to shake free. They will start again.
Interesting inclination of kicking out of defence. They're just going to run it.
I think either side is going to try and play this open rugby.
Pretty high tackle there, but going.
Interesting that we saw the high tackle framework and the tip tackle framework came out the week. But
You did.
yes, because I've been complaining about it quite a lot.
Yeah, I think that framework made it fairly clear though, which is good. Good to have clarifications, but yeah.
It's been an incredibly hard game of rugby so far. It's being played between Elizabeth's 22 and the halfway right now, and
Yeah,
penalty for not rolling away.
not 10.
So they'll march that one on.
The ref is playing advantage for the not 10.
Their advantage. Stole
No
it, but they're going to
advantage.
come back for that not 10. So now is a good time to let you know that we have Guillermo Castillo in the middle. Over on the far side is Dewo Gunning, and on the who is refereed in a national touch competitions. A very, very good touch referee.
Yep. When I first saw Amanda referee in the middle for rugby union, she had a fantastic whistle, and I couldn't believe that it was one of her first games. But then I realised that, well, I was told that she'd been refereeing high level, so hence the good whistle. So yeah, taking the chance to go for the 3 points here, which I think is probably a wise move.
It is. We have a Northern Hemisphere coach in Carl Jones away to our left-hand side, but he's not what I would call a traditional Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah, I think he's been in the Southern Hemisphere for quite a part of his life now.
Yes, no, yeah.
No, he's pulled it.
Pulled it. Tui Vasa not. Absolute stalwart for Port Adelaide over the last couple of years. Tui Vasa, fully Tui Vasa. Quite regularly wins the top try scorer trophy. Deep kick again.
So that's high.
A
Yeah.
little bit of man and ball. Arm has come out. The old koala tackle, we've missed it.
Yeah, going by the guidelines that has been circulated, that was high, so it's a fair call. Still playing advantage, we
Adelaide happy
think.
to take things off in bite-sized chunks at the moment. Now they've found a little bit of a gap round on the outside, trying to make a way
there's
through. And
Don't think there's too many arms in that.
I know there is a whistle. Just going to stop, and there's an injury. I think it was a bit. Sam Tanaki.
This could end in tears, I think, but let's have a look.
That's after it there. Just so people know as well, the replays that we see are on a slight delay to what you see, so apologies if we're talking about stuff that you've already seen. Yeah, it certainly looked questionable. Mr. Gunning has been over there on that side, so I've lost Mr. Castillo now. Has he gone and... I think it's just a penalty.
I think he's dealing with the injured player penalty.
Not sure which one it was, but there's 2 tackles in a row, and we were talking as well that the vast majority of the experience for this Elizabeth side is rugby league. I mean, they've even got rid of that tackle out of rugby league as well.
Yes,
as a no arms
that's
tackle.
right.
So
yep.
There's no excuse really.
No. He hit, and there was straight away you could see there was not much hint of arms in it.
He is holding his shoulder though, so at least that's probably why we're only talking a penalty. Port Adelaide now and deciding to go for a line-out. Very, very close. So we'll see whether they launch a back smooth or whether they look to pick and drive.
I'm tipping pick and drive.
I think the packs are very, very even. They are going to try and get it going forward. They are getting it going forward.
They've got some momentum there.
That now is a problem for Elizabeth, because once they get going forward, they're going to struggle, and Port Adelaide out on the very far side. And there we again just see a little bit of conversation over there. A little bit of discussion about the best place to eat after the game today. So, if you were to give me odds on this ending 15-aside,
no, let's just say that should all be good. They'll settle down. Let's hope. We don't want to see players on the sideline.
But I think there's certainly a lot of feeling between these 2 clubs at the moment. It's both clubs on the rise and the rebuild.
Yeah.
It's been a long period for Port Adelaide.
And
But looking out there, there's not a million players that I recognise. Casey Reynolds is one who's been around for a while. Tui Vassar is there. And Natalia Falatau is also out there, but that's it.
So where's the influx of players come from
That I
for
am
Port?
not sure.
I think there's some from Bordertown perhaps come through, is what I've heard.
Oh, and of course, Justin Danielson, the prodigal son. He's been away and come back a few times as Mr. Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
Tough kick for Tui Vassar out on the far side, right-footed kicker. Wind's not terrible today, though.
No, he should. There's nothing that's going to assist him or go against him, so be a good test. Position is going to be a big factor here, because I think they'll be
held in the wind and comes off the post. It was about as good a kick as you could manage from out there.
So far, Port have had all the ascendancy as far as field position goes.
Just a chat with one of the Elizabeth players on a penalty from midfield for Elizabeth.
Oh.
So obviously the discussion was instigated by a man in black and white.
I see, that's from that melee, yes. He might before. Oh, it's a shocking
It's a
kick.
tough kick, but I think he's managed to...
No.
Oh no, it bounced and held up.
It's a pity that was a chance for Elizabeth to get some good ground position.
Territory, I mean, we're very early on. We're not even 10 minutes on the scoreboard yet. But very, very early on, territory has been good for penalty.
That's for not releasing the ball. They're going to go for a line out.
Easier kick for him. First time we've had to look to our right so far in this game.
So I mean, yeah, as I was saying before, Port have had all the ascendancy as far as field position. A bit of an attacking opportunity for Elizabeth, probably the first one they've had.
First time we get to see them defensively as well. That's from a set play, so it's going to be interesting, because I think Elizabeth's certainly very, very dangerous from set plays.
Yeah.
Line out has come Elizabeth's way. They made good yardage from the back of it as well.
So Massey, number 15's coming into the line. There he is, and he's
Good pass, and they
he's
managed
the
to
danger
create a
player. Oh,
two-on-one,
he
but
slipped.
pass just sent him backwards. There to make the final tackle.
The ref's playing advantage for something there, and
The advantage is
try.
over as they go over and they score a try. So very quickly Elizabeth have come back.
So the first opportunity in an attacking position, and they've
Just
come up with the goods.
show how dangerous they are. It's the first sort of set play, and they didn't even manage to get the line out tidy. Still managed to find a way through.
Probably the well, not mistake, but a miss of the line out. John took it and gained some good ground and gave Elizabeth the go forward.
And a couple of missed tackles on Toka Ma'ata, who will look to convert his own try. Certainly not time to panic for either side. I mean, we've been playing half an hour, and to be honest, it feels like we have, in a way. It's only just 10 minutes gone on the Vonex scoreboard. I must remember to let somebody know that Wojtek is no more.
No. Yeah.
I like it though, it's a little bit retro.
He's normally a pretty reliable kick.
Again, it's probably about as perfect as you can get for kickers tonight.
No, didn't get onto that.
Underneath it, just didn't have the legs.
No.
He knows it as well.
Yeah.
Didn't actually manage to get through it.
I think he timed that. Something went wrong.
So 5 points apiece. I think it's important again for Port to get ball in hand. I think, we've shown and we've said that if you give this Elizabeth team ball in hand, they will punish you. And I assume that's what Richard Wasley did to you last week. He just probably bored you to death, didn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't sort of pretty rugby that they played, but it was very tactical. But solid rugby in saying that. I mean, their scrums are very strong.
And first up tackles have to be absolutely spot on today for Port Adelaide. They're away again. Little chip forward.
Geez, that was a take because the ball bounced really high, so you responded well to that.
It's become a real steadying hand at the back as Falatolu.
Deliberate knockdown, I think, then. Yeah.
So again, Port now will try and look as far down as they possibly can. They've been successful with the driving more once. They'll look to try and get as close to the Elizabeth line as they can. Not a great amount of distance, but
At least they went out and they've got.
that's it. I'm just thinking. I'm trying to get into the head of two of probably the best coaches in South Australian rugby, away to our left, and just think about what they. For mine, they just have to keep, and we saw it initially. They just take off bite-sized chunks. I think they're going to be happy to keep it in the forwards and just try and keep it out of the hands of Elizabeth.
I think the more possession this Elizabeth team get, the more chance they got to show that flair that they've got, and break the line with pace.
I think this is what we're going to see from Port, just hard forward running. Scrum down, is that a knock on at the back?
Scrum. Elizabeth boys thought it was a penalty.
I think we've talked about the breakdown and how untidy it is at times. I don't remember it so far.
No,
remember one.
this is the first one.
First one?
Yep.
We're looking at the very, very similar.
That's good. Good scrum. Nothing worse than seeing the scrums going down all day, so that's a good sign.
Short ball into midfield. Dealt with well. They're away again. Reynolds will look down this near side. That's a high one. Commander Shiki's got it. Falatolu will take another couple of metres. Port again, just running into the heart and the teeth of Elizabeth. Danielson ducks under one. Tuivasa. Interesting move. The offload is absolutely magical from Tuivasa. Now Port Adelaide in striking distance. Reynolds again. Tuivasa. Can he find his wing? His fullback Falatolu didn't quite find hands. Still got a feeling we might come back for the penalty.
He's called it over.
But you would expect. I mean, are we talking 3 now? The offload from Tuivasa was magical. I was about to say I'm interested in him moving into that sort of midfield spot because I think you lose a little bit of his strike running, but didn't cause an issue there at all.
It's always hard when you've got a playmaker, whether you put them further inside to create some space or outside to use the space that's created.
So far, having a first fight, you can take it to the line like that and offload like that. It's a feather to your cap.
Yeah.
Big scrum from Port Adelaide. Good pickup from the back. Had to be.
Arms around the head of the Elizabeth player.
Yeah, has he got him? No, just straight over the top. Elizabeth want to go quick and a little bit cynical, knocking out the hand.
That's the sort of thing that, is, just poor discipline. Shouldn't be doing that.
Philavau wearing the white headgear. Kick is right on the head of ourselves and the camera position. Elizabeth line up very, very close to us. The first one just overthrew it a little bit. Again, the overthrow. This time it is cleared up again by Elizabeth. Barlow will tidy it up.
Port have pilfered that. No.
Oh, the little knock on by Port at the back of the line out. It's a horrible feeling when you think, oh, this one's ours.
Not sure what Elizabeth were doing in the line out there, or it sort of went to nobody.
Well, it's 2 overthrows from the hooker.
The jumper didn't really jump anywhere near high enough to take that ball, so I'm not sure what the tactics are there.
So the last scrum we saw, Port Adelaide certainly put the pressure on.
Like you say, both fairly strong, heavy packs. Good thing is they're not going down, they're staying up, which is great.
And again, Port put that shove on really early. Elizabeth did very, very well to hold the shove. Wonderful ball on the outside, and he's managed to get away. Again, tries to get there, and again, Falatolu almost playing goalkeeper back there. Does well to charge down the kick. It'll be an Elizabeth lineup.
Yeah, I was just going to say, is that a charge down? I don't think it's close enough to call it a charge down, but anyway.
I felt like it was.
Yeah.
We'll agree to disagree. Another Elizabeth lineup. Just near side as well. There's just Bawawa. Just a little bit sore. He is a mile offside, but I don't think he's involved in the play, but it's hacked forward. Well, the bounce just didn't sit up, but and then it's coughed up. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the rugby ball. 9 times out of 10, that will sit up. And it'll sit up nicely, and he'll waltz over Sam Tanaki. It just didn't want to sit up for him.
No. If it had, it would have been try time, I think.
I was preoccupied a little bit with the
me
Winger
too.
Bawawa over here, but that would appear to be another turnover from a lineup. So another Elizabeth scrum. I like that Elizabeth are being quick.
The ball's coming out very quick.
Coming out
yeah.
very, very quick, which is, good relationship between the halfback and the hooker.
I think
getting it back into the line, back into the back row as soon as possible. It's an intriguing battle between these two packs.
Well, strong port scrum again.
But again, they managed to tidy it up at the back quite quickly.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
your kick. Oh, he's offside. I tell you what, it's not a terrible decision from him. Quick tap and try. I was looking down at my phone. I thought they were going to go slowly, but Reynolds
No, they took the quick
took
tap.
us all by surprise.
Yep.
So Port Adelaide setting the cat amongst the pigeons in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, when they're getting the ball down into their attacking territory, they're looking dangerous. Their scrums are certainly strong. Elizabeth need to get ground position, which they're not getting at the moment because they're not winning line-outs.
Yeah, Reynolds as well caught Elizabeth napping. Very much so there.
It's a bit of...
They've not been given a huge amount of possession, have they? Port have been very, very good at just stifling their possession and not allowing Elizabeth to build their attack.
Yeah, I think Elizabeth have been at fault there a few times. It's not so much that Port have taken possession, Elizabeth have given it up a couple of times.
Tuivasa will pull that one across the front, so
all of a sudden
10 points to 5.
First sort of a chill in the air now.
It's terrible. That's a message from Tuivasa, just keep it up. And there's a long, long way to go in this game. And I think what's been interesting as well is that Port, I don't remember them kicking it to Elizabeth. You would normally see teams just try and play territory with the boot. That one is knocked out. Oof. Find himself in a very comfortable position, but he's up quite quickly. Don't have a name for the number 14 just yet.
It was a bit uncomfortable, I think, then.
Yeah, it was
injured.
Certainly was not. Certainly wasn't what you would want to see. Bully Hanau just got himself in a terribly awkward position. For another scrum to Elizabeth. I think those scrums are starting to mount up.
Yeah. We went for quite a while without a scrum. Now we got them happening fairly frequently.
Come along like buses. But again, it's a great position for us to have a look at the scrum. And
Elizabeth number 8 binding between the second row and the
well,
flanker.
he's not binding at all. I mean, that's Reynolds manages to steal it away, but the little knock on by Elizabeth. That's very, very interesting from the Elizabeth number 8.
It's obviously pre-planned to take the ball.
Just
from the
sealing
number 8.
off. Yeah, I mean, he didn't bind at all. He was directly between the second row's legs. So he's almost got his hands between the feet of the second row, waiting to pick the ball up. It's an interesting tactic, and hey, if you get away with it, you get away with it. Surprised it's not been picked up by the Port coaching bench as well. They seem to be refereeing from the sideline, away to our left.
I'm not sure if that's the coaches or spectators. Probably a bit of both.
Bit of both.
I guess we all do a bit of that.
I mean, I'd try and do it from here at times. So Port line-out, I don't think I remember seeing, well, I think the last line-out we saw was the one where they went and scored the try.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit too far out, you would say, for a driving maul from here.
So the game's been a tough challenge so far, but hasn't reached any great heights as yet, I wouldn't have thought.
I don't know how that's managed to come back. I think that came off the foot of the Elizabeth counter jumper. Gone to ground. No, still going. That's Sam Tanaki again. He's been absolutely outstanding for Port Adelaide in the first 25 minutes. Reynolds will find Tuivasa. Into midfield again. Tuivasa will loop. Then back inside. That's about as good a tackle as you can hope for. Reynolds again will look this side. Tuivasa again. This time he does kick it. The knock on.
That was a charge down.
Well, he's not put his arm out, so potentially it is a charge down. We're playing on. Danielson. Very upright. He's got to fight his way to ground. Gets there eventually. Reynolds again.
This is looking dangerous for Port. Not dangerous for Port, but good for Port, dangerous for Elizabeth.
Elizabeth again in danger of just sealing that off.
Nice step.
With the step and trying to find a way through. Blocked again. Reynolds will find another runner. They're just going to keep trying because Elizabeth still have parity of numbers on this near side.
Blind
so
side.
It's going to be even that's covered, I think. So it's going to be a case of who's going to be the bigger and stronger forwards. Here it is again, and very, very good defensive discipline from Elizabeth so far. Hands are there, hands are good.
It's your forward pass, yep.
Forward pass, and again, just on the end of that, the tackle. I think he's got away with it because the whistle went. The tackle didn't appear to have too many arms in it. And that's very, very good defensive discipline from Elizabeth, because I expected to see those backs shift in to try and cover, and they trusted the big boys up there.
So, yeah, they have tied up their discipline in that situation. Last week they were getting pinged for not being bound and last foot, so they've really worked on that, which is great to see.
I think when your defensive line speed is as fast as Elizabeth is, you really don't need to be offside.
No. No, I'm coaching under 14s now, and I just bashed into them that being beyond the last foot is just the most stupid penalty, because you gain nothing. You might gain, a little bit of ground, but lose because of a penalty. So you're best to stay well behind the last foot. Gee, that ball's coming out quick from the scrum.
Quick out.
Wow.
No thoughts of running. The great offload. Now Elizabeth are away. Now the kick forward. It's going to become a foot race. Ball will bounce into the 22. Elizabeth are going to win the foot race. Oof.
Oh, gee, he was taken out then.
Very, very close. The arm has gone out for an advantage. I think he's going to give the knock on. There it is.
Oh.
It was a 50-50, so it will be a Port scrum. He actually needed that to skip on. The fact that it sort of died meant that because he was winning the foot race, he needed to skip on. He needed another couple of yards, and it just died.
The first glance, I thought the Port player took Elizabeth's player out, but they didn't. He really just fell over and fell on top of each other.
Kind of got in each other's way a little bit.
Yeah.
Still work being done on
I guess that shows the style of play that Elizabeth play, right from deep in defence to nearly scoring a try, and that's what they often do.
It is an incredible tactic in the scrum that Elizabeth are using at the moment. It's been a while since I've seen a ball come out of a scrum.
Just going to say that I've not seen a ball come so quick. Like last scrum was just quick. Maybe the number 8's got his hands in there.
Well,
he's got long arms. Maybe he's taken the ball from the front row.
Well, I mean, he must be close to it. He's binding properly now, and that's, I think, just to shore them up, because it's port ball. Just keep an eye on it, ladies and gentlemen, if we get another scrum for Elizabeth, and just look where the number 8 for Elizabeth binds or doesn't bind. The little chip forward is going to work for Reynolds again. It just doesn't sit up. Ball is not behaving today. Good first tackle from Port in midfield.
His arm out towards Elizabeth advantage for something.
Something in the breakdown. The offload again. A little bit of a dangerous one. We're going to come back for that penalty, but this is, I think, where we're going to see a little bit of... I mean, if you talk about structure and discipline in the game, Port certainly the more structured of the two teams.
Yes.
They've got a plan and they are sticking to it at the moment with 10 minutes to go in this first half.
Are they going for the line? Or?
I would expect them to go for the corner.
Yep. See if they can get the line out sorted out this time, because the first few haven't been so good.
It's just been missing a target. It also feels a little bit like they should have two jumpers. You would think the number 8 and the number 7 would both be targets in the line.
Normally number 8 Appy is the jumper, and he jumps a mile. So I'm not sure why they're not going for him so far.
Certainly looks like a supporter's dream. It's tall, but doesn't look too heavy. Fingers crossed he can hit a target. There we go.
So that's much better executed.
The maul has been sacked almost straight away, but they managed to keep their feet. We'll run down the channel, try and find a way through.
Not sure the tackle will release then, but...
Oh, the long blast of the whistle, and talked about discipline. It was a interesting penalty, but it's there. Trying to hold it up, and a little knock on, so it will be a Port scrum. Be interesting to see whether Elizabeth can get a shove on in one of these scrums. Certainly the Port scrum so far has been very, very solid.
Just looking at number 15 for Elizabeth Massey, he's a very dangerous player, and it's wonder sometimes where he gets a bit wasted back at fullback, but when he does come into the line, he makes a big difference.
I think as well that the more that teams see of Elizabeth, the less likely they are to kick into that strength.
Yeah.
Tuivasa trying to find a way out and just run, gets outside the 22. Port will get the ball back. But I think as the season goes on, more and more teams will be more hesitant to kick into broken field rugby. As you see from Port Adelaide, they've just happy to pick and drive.
Yeah, they're not kicking at all back there.
Sam Tanaki again.
So they made some good ground, Port there.
And another penalty. Yeah, sealing off again, and that's been the major penalty, and he's tried to go, charge down, and then Port are going to get the ball back.
Wouldn't have thought they were back 10 then, but never mind.
Turnover, and it was messy, there's hands in there, there's all sorts of stuff going on, and it has been, I think, We've seen a lot of planes landing, Phil. Not many taking off.
No. Yeah, and I think that's good to stop that, because you need a fair contest at the breakdown.
Yeah, Phil, that's this. So that was not 10. Just going to have a chat with potentially the captain. Not sure who the captain is today. There appears to be an injury to the club captain, who's wandering around somewhere to our right.
Sean got injured last week, shoulder injury. I think he's only a week out.
Yeah, so not 10, but again, I'm not sure why that penalty would be happening there. Defensively, Elizabeth have been very, very disciplined and managed to make tackles where they need to, so that you can almost let them have the ruck. Let them have the breakdown.
Yep, concede it. So Port had a nice backline move from a set play before. We'll see if they do something this time. They should get some good clean ball. No, they haven't.
Stolen. You could almost see that happening as it happened. It was almost slow motion for the Port fans.
Massey's
now
into
they're
the
away.
line
Massey
now.
has to let it bounce. Now has 2 in front of him. Gets the ball away and just a little bit too far in front, and Port will turn over. Now Port have broken field rugby. Wonderful tackle coming across.
Great tackle.
It's a little pick and go. I think that's Danielson trying to find a way through. Falatolu. I mean, that feels better because that's a counter ruck, so you're kind of okay with them losing their feet. Penalty. Look for the signal. And then Mouth.
I think that's probably the second or third time there's been an extra 10 for speaking.
Yep.
It's fairly obvious he's not going to accept that, so you best not do it.
I don't know whether a rugby referee ever has.
No, nor they should. Sometimes it's pure frustration, though, from a player.
It's interesting watching the AFL fan base and the AFL media dealing with respect for officials.
Yeah. It's almost like it's a whole new thing for them.
It's amazing. Well, rugby fans, first time?
Yeah, it amazes me that you used to see AFL players just outright abusing the match officials.
Now what we need to do is infect soccer and we'll be fine.
Gee, what are they doing?
Oh, it's a bouncing ball and could have been very, very close, but the knock-on is going to go Elizabeth's way. We get a chance, hopefully. Oh, that's a wonderful little kick through. I think that would be advantage over, and they've managed to win it back, Elizabeth. Now they have got broken field. They've got all sorts of numbers on this near side if they can find them. Still there if they can get it out. They have a massive overlap on this near side.
Gee, some of their passes have been really wayward in the last 5 or 10 minutes, Elizabeth.
Probably held on too long to that. And they've lost that advantage that they had. They just needed to go hands. Turned over. Going to come back for something.
So it must be a penalty to be going back that far.
It is a penalty, yeah. Not releasing.
So I guess it looks like it's Port that needs to tighten up on the disciplines. A few penalties gone against them,
has been, and
which is not helping.
The breakdown, and we've talked about this, and we're over halfway through the season now. You would have hoped that any off-season rustiness had gone, and the breakdown had been tidied up, but it would appear not. They have a chance to go for the corner, but they've decided to just tap and give it to the big fella.
Ball's been stripped and it's been knocked on.
Penalty. Sealing off again. It's the one penalty today. It's the penalty du jour.
I think Elizabeth knocked on, and then there was a player in front of the player that knocked on and put him offside, so it's a penalty.
Yes, that is. You are absolutely spot on. Port again, just happy to pick and go. There they are again, and the last thing Port want is a broken field.
Another one.
Oh, penalty, but crossing. So he's obviously run into the back of a player.
So approaching half-time, a bit of extra time because I noticed the ref stopped his watch a few times there for chats and for injuries.
It's been mucky, I think, is a good word for
hasn't been
the first half of rugby.
No, it's not been a brilliant game to watch. It's been a hard contest. I think, though, that I expected it to be like this, a bit of a nullifying sort of game at the breakdown.
It's how long Port can keep that up.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Port can keep up this this structure and just tidy up their breakdown a little bit.
Yeah, and I think Elizabeth need to just tidy up on their handling, just sort of settle it down just a tad. And there's been a few Hail Mary passes that haven't come off.
It feels like there's almost a level of impatience with Elizabeth as well. That when they get the ball, they feel they must score.
Mm-hmm. To the front of the line
move, and now they're away down that near side. And wonderful covering tackle. They're going to come back though, not straight. Free kick. So mustn't have gone 5.
Yeah.
Now they've got a little bit of their own broken field. Oh, he didn't bite the dummy at all. And it's popped out, and Elizabeth will go. Tui Vasa slow to get up, which is not.
Yeah, that was a great tackle.
Not surprising.
Perfectly
It was a huge
tackle.
hit.
There we go.
There
Messi's coming in. No, I'm not going to give it to him. This is high attempt.
Elizabeth with the ball. Oh, he came off the boundary fence and was ignored. A little bit sideways. Tui Vasa still struggling, still down in midfield.
He's holding his back of his neck. It's not a good thing.
You would almost suggest that's whiplash. It's a great kick if it can find hands. It does find hands, but then goes out, and that will be half-time. A rather frantic end to the game. I will switch microphones and go and see whether I can find someone to have a chat to.
So he's still down injured there, which is not a good thing. So let's hope he's okay. That was a fairly untidy game of rugby there, but very strongly contested.
I should still be with you. I should be with you on the wireless mic. I'm just going to go and try and find someone to have a chat to, but you absolutely right. Miss a disjointed half of rugby. See whether I can get someone out of the port side before they get in, but I don't think I'm going to manage it. Might try and steal Tui Vasa actually as he finds his way to the huddle and have a chat with him on his way in. Just a little bit of a big Fully. I'll just try and grab him before we get in. Fully, how are you going?
Yeah, I'm good.
Just a little bit of whiplash. Just very, very quickly before I let you get into the huddle, it looks like there's a definite plan from Port. You're not kicking to Elizabeth and just trying to keep the ball in hand as much as possible.
Yeah, we had a game plan this week. I knew they were going to come in using our back three kicking, doing a lot of kicking, and that's what they've been doing. So what we're trying to do is keep the ball in our hands, and we can make something out of it, you know. But maybe in the second, might have to change that up in the second set. So.
All good. I'll let you go in. Good job. Hope you're fine. Hope you're good. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go for a break. Certainly, as we expected, just not kicking to their back three is what we expected them not to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go for a small break. Port are leading this one 10 points to 5. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The half-time team talks. It was an interesting interview with Foley. He's not the most talkative of people, Phil, but definitely there was a tactic not to kick to the Elizabeth back three and keep the ball. He wanted to change it. I don't know whether he's going to get his own way. Carl Jones and Andrew Fenton, very, very disciplined, you would think, in keeping the...
I think that's the coaching tactic has worked, because certainly Massey hasn't had the influence he normally has in the game. So they've kept the ball away from him, which is a smart move. I noticed the ref was having a chat with both captains. He said to me that they're fairly chatty out there, and we've seen a couple of 10-metre penalties for chatting.
Just having a look around the grounds as well. Onkaparinga 17 points to 10 over Woodville.
It's not a good start.
Going to go 10. No one wants to play it. It's still... Well, now he has played it, so we'll go back for the scrum. 17 points to 10, Onkaparinga over Woodville. 13 points to 8, Souths are leading Brighton at Brighton at the moment. 22 points to 3, Burnside over Adelaide Uni. We expect that probably to get a little bit bigger. And 10 points to 5 here.
So as you spoke before the game, whereas we spoke, there is some tight contests there.
There is. I think the Souths one is certainly one to put the cat amongst the pigs somewhat. But they have a fair cushion at the top of the league, Brighton.
Yeah. But they wouldn't want to concede too many games, you wouldn't have thought.
I mean, I think they can probably start to think about their place in the finals and whether they're going to have a second chance. And
so they've put the lights on here.
Very proud of the lights at Port Adelaide. It took a long time to get them up and running. The whole revamp a couple of years ago with a complete resurface of the A-grade of the one field that they have. That's a good scrum from Elizabeth.
Wow, that's a turnaround.
Obviously been talking about the scrums at half-time, and they're away again.
Happy will always look for that
offload. And
a
little bit too much, and that's the first time we've seen them kick, and we are going to see Massey get an open field.
He's pulled it up. Somebody's got an injury there.
Yeah, I don't think there was a...
So that was a strong scrum when it went down.
It was a bit messy,
wasn't it? So whether there was a front rower that's had an injury as a result of the scrum going down, we don't like to see that.
I think they will be going back to that, but it'd be interesting to see what he does with the restart. That was... So Mr. Fenton away to our left has suggested that he should go back to the knock-on from Navarro.
Yeah, I would think that's the way to go.
Well, Tanaki then did take possession and kick it away, and it was stopped. So your knock-on advantage would have gone. It's just a nasty collapse, really. So there was a knock-on there, but then Tanaki does kick it away. The physio struggling manfully to get him to a sitting position. Certainly a mismatch in weight there.
Looks like he's okay.
They'll probably just check with him, being a front rower. Just looking at the bench, there doesn't look to be many front row replacements.
Yeah, the Irish.
To the right.
Irish with a scrum cap on. He's a front rower. I think he joined you in commentary.
He did.
A couple of weeks ago.
Machine. But they have come back to that knock-on. So Paul quite lucky, really.
I think there was more closer to the halfway line where the knock-on was, but never mind.
But it will be a Port scrum. See whether Elizabeth will be able to disrupt it like the last one. Certainly that's the call from Bollett. Much more stable scrum from Port Adelaide now. They will go. Have Tui Vasa available. Offload is good. Who's kind of pushed through the tackle by Tui Vasa. It's a big, hard one. Oh, penalty. Not releasing. Certainly the call, and again, it didn't look like there was an attempt to wrap the arms in the tackle.
No. This one here. Yeah. Yeah.
There's an arm around the back. There is an arm around the back, so.
Just.
Token effort, but an effort. It's a line out right in front of us. It's amazing, you know, how many lineouts go out exactly on a line on the field, isn't it?
I think when you're an AR, it's an unwritten rule that
you take
if there's a line nearby,
take it.
Take the line, makes it easier for everybody.
Did manage to tidy that line out up.
Oh, that's a good line out.
Now they will look in midfield, and there's another missed tackle, and he's away. Gets the offload away to Boller. Boller pirouettes outside of the tackle. Now they can get it away to Massey on that far side. Wonderful tackle. Then went to try and jackal it, but Elizabeth will regain possession. It's about the biggest amount of continuity Elizabeth have had all game. Again, they've managed to find and punch a hole through the defensive line of Port Adelaide.
Interesting, there's not a strong contest at the breakdown just at the moment.
Port need to win the ball back. They won't want Elizabeth to be able to strike at them. Good discipline again. Both of these sides, and big up call. Came from the sideline, and again they're just managing to hold on and not allowing them to break through. Hurdle forward pass, and they got away with it. Good defensive work from the men from Port Adelaide.
So once again, Elizabeth there of forward pass. There's a couple of handling errors in the first half. Forward pass there. Can't afford to be doing that if you want to win tight games of rugby.
It's one of the tightest games of rugby I think we've seen this year. We've seen comebacks and teams go out, but this is about as tight as we've seen it. Certainly could be the type of game where a conversion or a penalty.
Just get the feeling that Elizabeth have had the ascendancy the last 5 minutes, but then, it can change quickly.
See whether they can put pressure on again. They're just going to stand this one up, I think. Once you've been dominated in the scrum like that, I think it'll just take a little bit of time to get your feet back underneath you.
Yeah, I see the Elizabeth prop that went down still wriggling his head around, so he's probably still got a bit of a sore neck there, so that might slow him down a bit.
They change it, number 8 for Elizabeth, at least defensively.
Yeah, the flanker and number 8 have swapped.
And the ball comes out quick this time for Port Adelaide, and that's one heck of a battle between those two. Very nearly got away again. Danielson stopped in his tracks. He enjoyed the hit as well as he gets up from that one. Port now will just try and settle back into their pick and drive rugby and just keep hold of the ball.
He's gone forward.
Yeah, not. Oh, he's gone the other way.
Oh,
for the side entry. I didn't feel like there was any release by the tackler.
No, there wasn't. His knees went to ground. Elizabeth Pye didn't release, so I think Port a bit unlucky there. As soon as his knees go to ground, it's a tackle. They must release him.
So there's his knee down, and he doesn't let go.
Release him, no. Easy for us to see that, but it's harder for the ref. There's a lot of players in his way, so it's a tough call.
So Elizabeth will line out in a strong position. Again, they can probably inject Massey into this line. Massey Tabua Tadeo. Oh, good hands. can pick 6 apples at a time. Oh, it's going to bounce up to Massey, and defensively that's very, very good from Port. Elizabeth, unfortunately, forced to go backwards because the pass went to ground, but now they're starting to get forwards and move.
Playing advantage for something.
Nice little disruptive counter-ruck, and again, strong defence from Port Adelaide. And then a little knock-on, so if it was a penalty, they're going to come
coming back for it. Wonder what they'll do, whether they'll take a shot.
Offside. I mean, I feel now like I certainly would be talking about taking the points now, giving yourself a 2-point game. That would mean that Port would have to be very, very disciplined, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
No, I don't think that even entered their head. And there was no
I heard
communication
line
from
away.
the bench. Oh, you heard a line, did you?
Yeah, almost straight away,
Yeah.
but I was living in hope. Another Elizabeth lineup. This one certainly is rolling maul territory, but number 8 had other ideas of glory, and he's lost it. 3 points are probably looking very. It's a great clearance.
It's a good kick.
Wonderful clearance. Massey can go quickly. Still had the time. He just couldn't quite get it into his hands to go quickly. Oh, wonderful clearance from Tuivasa. And number 8, Navarro, I think he would want that one back and just set that up again.
Yeah, he's probably tried to do a bit too much there.
Over. Tidied up though again, and sometimes the ones that don't go to hand immediately are the ones that cause the most trouble. He's made some wonderful yardage.
Oh, he's not rolling away there.
I mean, he's the very definition of trapped, in
Yeah.
fairness.
Yeah.
Tuivasa flies out the line, doesn't make the tackle. Now Elizabeth are away. Can they find any hands on the outside? The bounce is there. Then he will find Massey. Massey, lots of work to do. Can't get away from the first tackle, and Port managed to scramble across. Now they've got to reset the defensive line. Elizabeth, very, very strong position for them. Another little pick and go. Just left
backwards.
it behind. It went backwards.
Was lucky.
That
Let's
one
go
did
forward.
A little knock on, and Port can relieve the pressure again. Danielson trying to find a way out.
Let's go forward.
He's
Bring it
lost
back.
but they'll come back for the first one, you think.
Gee, that's another opportunity Elizabeth have wasted because of handling errors.
Defensively, Port Adelaide have been incredibly good so far. I think if you're approaching an hour and you've kept this Elizabeth side to 5 points,
Done well.
something has gone right.
Mm-hmm.
Port player slow to get up, I think. It's Sam Tanaki again. Beaten and bruised today.
I think the last 10 minutes is going to be a hard 10 minutes of rugby.
I think when it's a defensive contest, you know about it on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Saturday night's okay. The physios will do their job for Saturday night, and there may be some liquid,
And a bit of adrenaline still flowing. But yeah, Sunday
some
morning.
liquid
it's-
painkillers on the Saturday night, and they'll all catch up with you Sunday morning.
We're taking a chance to have a breather and a drink now. It's fairly intense rugby there for a while, but once again, Elizabeth have blown an opportunity by a handling error or a forward pass, or haven't been so good in that area today.
I think as well, it's a lesson in how to play Elizabeth at the moment. You have to be disciplined. You have to keep your defensive structure regardless. I mean, we saw that That attack essentially came from Tuivasa rushing out of the line, which then opened up the field for Elizabeth. It's the first time we've seen it happen. One of the longest scrums we've seen today. Tuivasa again can clear. That one just skews off his foot, so there is going to be a counter-attack.
This could be dangerous.
Massi Tadeo surveys what he has in front of him and beats the first tackle. That's a wonderful tackle.
They've shut him down today. They've really focused hard on that.
Now they're going to look down that far side. Big rangy number 8.
Playing advantage. Not sure what the penalty was for though. Couldn't see the signal.
Is it sealing off again?
High tackle.
Which is, I tell you what, that's a big ask on
Happy.
on the big number 8.
Yeah.
Elizabeth will have another line out. Yeah, it's just a lazy arm.
Not much in it, but it was there.
Certainly a penalty. Need a stepladder to get high on him.
Yeah. Whenever Happy has a run, he's always looking for an offload. Always.
Looks like an octopus in a sack at times. His arms and legs are going everywhere. Better line out again. This time they go off the top and pounced upon by Port Adelaide, but Elizabeth managed to get it back. Now they can get into midfield. Step back. Again, defensively they've been good, Port Adelaide. And just that first knock on, I think, from the hooker for Port Adelaide, so it will be an Elizabeth scrum, but just forced it a little bit then, Elizabeth.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks. I think it's a good analogy. They're trying to force things. They're not playing the natural sort of flowing game.
It's unlucky from because he was very, very close to turning that over from the lineup. Apeo Sione. It's very much switched on. Unfortunately, it just came forward from him, but it's those kind of open field, messy bits of rugby that Elizabeth have absolutely enjoyed this year.
No, they've lost
there's
it.
one against the head from Port Adelaide, and this time big number 8 does get away. 2 big contacts. Now they're away. They had an overlap, but it's decided to come back into the safety of numbers. Another big hit again. Potentially could get pinged here, but no, it's away, and Elizabeth have turned it over. Straight up the guts from the men from the north. Now a penalty to Port Adelaide, sealing off again. It has been the penalty that we have seen so much of today. I think Port will just want to get this as far as they can into touch, just to give each other, just to give everybody a rest, really. So we approach the hour mark. 20 minutes gone in the second half, and no score in the second half.
No, Elizabeth had a couple of opportunities, but they've...
A wobbly old kick.
Gee. He's lucky to get that out.
One of those ugly ones that finds its way into touch.
Gained some good ground there too. Good ground gaining kick, that one.
So it'll be a Port lineup. Quick line out to the front. Again, very, very disciplined from Port Adelaide. Oh, and it's turned over again. Oh, the pace from Boller. Boller, one to beat. Can he get around the outside? Throws it away, hopefully, but goes in. An incredible chase from the winger. Boller thought probably he was planning a celebration, you would have thought.
Looked like he was away.
It's going to be a change for Elizabeth. I thought it might have been the winger on that far side. He's had a lot of attention to his left leg. He hasn't had much to do, to be honest.
No. Yeah, it looked like he's been carrying an injury most of the game.
And it's not the leg that's strapped. So, another Port line up.
Oh.
Overthrown,
Cheers.
and you can put that one down to the Elizabeth number 8 being very, very high. And here comes Massey. Beats the first one. Gets away from the second. Now he'll try and get on the outside. He does get the outside. Inside ball. Into the corner. Ball is just thrown away. Elizabeth still have possession. Now they will look to just knock on the door and see whether they can bash it down. Port Adelaide allowed the time to set themselves defensively on the outside. Big long looping pass. Now they get it away. He's got one to beat on the outside. He does beat him, and he's going to come around to make the kick as easy as he possibly can. That'll bring it to 2 points apiece. And they finally got Massey into the line. Turnover at the line-up. Broken field rugby. Finally, they got the fullback in.
Yeah, back at that line out, you probably could question whether Elizabeth player came up and closed the gap before the ball came in. Then they had to go over him and disrupted their line out. But anyway, it's history now. Elizabeth took possession and certainly took advantage of it.
It's the first chance they've had to really run at Port Adelaide. And even then, Port Adelaide almost managed to get defensively back into a position, but stopping Navarro one-on-one, 15 metres out, is going to be a big ask for anybody. This is a massive kick for Tokomaata.
Yeah, he didn't get onto the last or the first kick all that well, so let's hope he gets onto this one a bit better.
And the flags stay down. 10 points apiece, 19 minutes plus stoppages to go.
I think he thought he got that then.
It's a very, very good pass from the front rower. So Port will get possession from this. Oh no, they won't. Sorry. I was thinking it was sevens. Port will restart.
Yeah, it's definitely not sevens.
Well, it's easy to make that mistake though today. A little bit of a broken field again. Tamaki just didn't quite manage to find a way through. Danielson and Tamaki will make the first challenge. Again, Port Adelaide having to put in the defensive work at the moment. Massey again, this time he does get away around the outside, dances down the touchline, has one inside, just takes on Falatolu. Wonderful tackle. May have been turned up, no, penalty. Falatolu with an absolute, that's a try saver. Try saver from Falatolu. Just trying to see what the penalty is.
They've gone to ground. Maybe sealing it off or something. Yeah, he's signalled it coming in from the wrong side.
Yeah, he never came back around through the gate, Falatolu. There was an interesting conversation between him and the Elizabeth players afterwards.
I think he got one, he got a hit where it hurts.
Yeah, in the lower abdomen.
Yeah.
Elizabeth away again, and
again.
another little handling error. Port would have wanted to swoop on that quicker than they did. See whether Falatolu has made his way back onto the ground. He's still nursing the upper legs, shall we say.
Didn't see the ice pack come out though.
No, the physio not too quick to rub them.
It was good the Elizabeth players actually came and, you know, settled him down and took him away. So they were very far from aggressive in the situation, which was good to see.
He's actually struggling. As we are laughing. The water bottle's coming out. I think it's time, Anatolia. Just
hard tap on the top of the head.
Yeah.
Knock him back into
couple
place.
Of cuffs. The cameraman stoically not looking at it. He's finally up. He's still not overly comfortable. Is he going to get substituted out?
They're going to take him off, I think.
Here it hurts.
I know somebody else must be coming off.
Yeah, no, he didn't want to come, but he is coming.
He was pretty upset about it. I'm not sure there was any intent in the whack
I
that he got.
don't think there was.
No.
He just tried to clean him out, and I think he's got his hand in an unfortunate position.
He's won an unfortunate position.
Certainly unfortunate.
So,
back to rugby. Reynolds, great take from Tui Vasa, and this time he does put the ball on boot and that. Where's it going to bounce? Where's it going to sit? Oh, you've got to take that ball. They're lucky to get away with that, Elizabeth. Yeah, he was out, and you don't see that very often. Wonderful work from Reynolds defensively. Massey again, beats one, beats two, beats three, beats four, and gets the offload away. Absolutely magical, and back inside.
Wow, that's pretty rugby.
Take a bow, young man.
He's a magician, Massey.
That, close quarters, beating players, and the offload, and then got back and got the inside ball. That is incredible from Tadeo. Absolutely insane. Absolutely wonderful work from the man from Mildura. And just like that, Port find themselves down.
Change of kicker.
And that one is good, so 17 points to 10.
It's a handy kick.
And again, that's come from Port Adelaide missing touch and kicking to that very dangerous back three of Elizabeth. There has been a change of tactics in the second half. So far, it's not worked.
Yeah, because like you're saying, they have kicked this half and it's probably not been a good idea.
Yeah, Tadeo just absolutely pulling them apart. I mean, for mine as well, that is...
Oh, that is criminal.
It's a gift from Elizabeth, but that is close to try of the season for mine so far.
That's a great try. But that's a terrible take there. He's had a bad day today handling the ball.
So Port Adelaide will have a scrum, and they must strike early. About 11 minutes to go.
So Port were strong in the scrums, the first few scrums, but Elizabeth sort of fought back a bit, and they seem to have the dominance.
It's been an interesting battle up front. From a set-piece point of view as well, both sides have had their struggles. Again, they're away down that far side. Wonderful counter-ruck from Elizabeth, but it's been tidied up.
Knock on.
No, they've turned over. They're all saying go back. I think Elizabeth have turned over. And they have. They look to run from the shadows of their own posts.
Yeah, bring it back for the knock on.
So it's going to be a Port ball. So for all that, we haven't moved very far.
No, he's bringing it back. He's playing advantage. So it's going to be Elizabeth ball.
What a change for Port Adelaide.
Sam Chapman, yeah.
Coming on.
Chappy.
10 minutes. I mean, that's his average game time, in fairness, 10 minutes, even if he starts. He's full of injuries. He's held together by tape, that man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he got his full Sunday name as Samuel Chapman on the screen. I think Danielson has been okay. The real impact runner has been Sam Tamaki. I think Boller is really struggling as well, so they might have to make a change at half back. At least going to get some treatment from the physio.
Elizabeth physio, Mel Morrison, she looks after teams right throughout the whole day. She's a trooper. Most of them do.
Most trainers do. I know Kev Beckett is at Brighton, or with Brighton.
All day, yeah.
All day. I think the more grades your team has, the more work you have to do. Kev Beckett, obviously, it's not enough for him. He also does the state side as well.
Well, Mel coaches under 10s at Elizabeth too, so yeah, those sort of people just machines. What community sport's all about.
The sport would not run without our volunteers.
So we're back to the game, and it's Elizabeth ball. They were playing.
I think.
No, they're playing. He was playing advantage to Elizabeth for a knock on, so he brought it back.
They are a threat even from here as well, aren't they?
They're a threat from anywhere.
Well, Massey's gone into 9.
Yeah.
I think Boller was wanting to come off. Well, that's the option that it gives you. Well, that's an interesting first contribution from Mr. Chapman. Big, strong winger, this number 16. He's just going to try and find a way through the guts. Can't quite get there. So he's going to come back Port's way, though. Again, it's a little shove through the game
from
line.
his own player.
It's happened a couple of times with Port Adelaide. I don't think it's illegal. There's Tamaki again, managing to shake his way out. Gets the offload away, and again, just reverses his field. Lost forward.
Playing advantage.
Coming back for something. Offside. Same old song for Elizabeth, but we haven't sung it for a while.
No. Oh, they've been pretty good today, but Port taking the quick ball.
Well, they must score. And you have to say they must score under the post as well. Tui Vasa will try and find a way through, and looked high again. No arm out in the shadows of the posts. And that over up around this corner would get them somewhere. Tamaki. Tamaki's been very, very strong, but 5 metres out, can't find a way through. Slow from the Elizabeth number 7. Chapman tries to go over the top. penalty. Disappointing end to that series of breakdowns for Port Adelaide.
Didn't see a signal for what it was for.
Yeah, and
Unless it was from Sam for diving over.
oh, mouth again, and that's come from Tui Vasa, you would think, and that just is not.
They're
Not
taking
great.
Elizabeth have taken the quick ball.
And there is Massey, and Massey has beaten a couple. Oh,
He slipped.
the Port Adelaide pitch gets him, and Port can turn over. Turned over again. It's just scrappy. Over the top. Oof, he had a
Whoa.
couple of bites at it, but got it eventually. Beats a couple. Short channel for Elizabeth. Stolen again by Chapman. Chapman has come on and certainly injected himself into this game. Capable, responsible for at least 2 turnovers. Port now with the ball.
Couple of Port players on the ground, whether
There's
they're
a
tired
couple
or
of Port
injured.
players. It's
Oh, that was a big hit.
oh, that is a massive midfield hit, and the counter ruck comes, and the counter ruck is good. He can't put his hands in. Port need to start switching on. 5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Under the lights at Riverside Oval.
Hard to pick out the penalty there, but anyway.
Well, he did him for not rolling away. I mean, the other thing is that number 7 certainly put his hands in the ruck. He wasn't the tackler, so he has no rights there. And I don't think they cleared it enough for it to be just coming from the back. Well, he doesn't want to come, the 11. Here he comes. He didn't want to go.
No. No, he's grimacing about something.
It has been one heck of a physical game.
Couple of big hits there.
His headgear just left on the ground in the middle of the park. Just abandoned.
The tackling's been fairly disciplined today.
It's had its moments, but it's been good. Port have the ball at the back. They have control. Reynolds. Tui Vasa. Carries to the line. Reynolds again. Slow ball. Just trying to find a way through. Does get some good yardage, but Elizabeth have been incredible at the breakdown and turning it over. And they have turned it over. Massey again.
Look out.
He was so strong then. And Foster came over and made a tackle, but he managed to hold. Ball has gone out. Tamaki and Dye getting acquainted. Massey and the Port front rower getting acquainted. But again, we're watching this delayed, but the strength of Massey is ridiculous. So it will be an Elizabeth line-out. This is the one where he needs to find it and hit it. He's asking for a scrum. He's not going to be able to take the scrum.
No,
The only time you
ref
can
wants to
take
have
a
a
scrum is if you can knock it on into touch. So
Wants
just
to have a
starting to
chat.
get a little bit tetchy. 7 points in it. Minute and a half plus stoppage time to go. This is about as passionate as you will see local rugby players, I think. So the line-out, and it will be an Elizabeth line-out. Probably the most important line-out throw for Elizabeth today.
the ref has a chat to the captains come back and say, guys, take it easy. And the guys go, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Into midfield. Oh, he's found a way through. Looks for the offload, gets the offload away.
Always
Elizabeth again.
offload.
Trying to find a way. Nice step inside. Then the offload again it's a loose offload, and Port will strike. Port now trying to find a way through. Again at the breakdown, Elizabeth have been very, very good in the knock-on.
Yeah,
Navarro will go down. Looks like he's cramping up.
Elizabeth have been good at the breakdown there on occasions, pilfering the ball.
Certainly in the last quarter of the game, they've just been absolutely ruthless.
Number 5 there, he was really strong there.
So you talk about moments and you talk about when things need to happen, and this right now in red time is a scrum that Port Adelaide absolutely have to win.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of stoppage, so there's a few more minutes to go, I'd say.
I think we've got a little bit of time to go, but
yeah,
certainly Port Adelaide have to win this scrum.
So Elizabeth Back's got an interesting...
I think there's a straight line directly behind scrum. Port have split 3 and 3, I think, or 3 and 2 with a fullback will probably work either way. So the old All Blacks tactic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Very, very steep to the right. I mean, if they do lose, there we see again that very, very quick scrum from Elizabeth. Good defensively from Port Adelaide.
Oh,
that's a penalty.
That's got to be cynical.
Now they're away again. 1 to beat, and the feet are good. And he's away. He's got 1 to beat, and again the Port Adelaide pitch gets him. Massey will offload, and they've got numbers if they can find them. Numbers both sides if they can find them. They need to go to the right if they can get it. Knocked on. There's going to be time. 8, 9, 15 here could work. But there is some tired boys out there, both sides.
Once again, a handling error from Elizabeth. Very close to the line. It's probably a forced error then, though, I'd say. A couple of them have been unforced errors, but that one was probably a forced handling error. I think a few of the boys need to find their way to Rebel Sport in Elizabeth and get some longer studs. Yeah.
A couple of them have fallen over.
I get the file out and file my nails down on mine and on them.
Time off again as Tui Vasa just takes his time getting up. I don't mind it. I don't really want this game to end, if I'm honest. It's been a
tough contest, hasn't it?
Ding-dong battle.
Yeah, it hasn't reached any great heights, but it has been a real tough battle.
There's just been moments of brilliance from Elizabeth and discipline and structure from Port Adelaide, which are words that I never thought I would put into a sentence.
He played in really good spirit too, which is great to see.
But it's been hard as well. There's been no backward step from either side, and Port do try and find a way out. Offload! Just about ends up in Port's hands. Now they're trying to find a way around on that far side. Can't get there. They must keep the ball and they must score.
It's tough from way back there. They haven't sort of shown a lot of penetration through the day. They've turned it over, haven't they?
I'm not sure whether that was legal. The arms come out.
Yeah, arms has come out. Playing advantage.
I think everybody stopped, thinking that the penalty was definitely going to be given. There is the penalty.
No, knock on.
Knock on.
I thought he had a signal out for a penalty.
So again, Port with a scrum. Long way to go.
I think somebody just asked him how long to go. He looked at his watch, so I'm interested to see what the answer was.
There has been a fair bit of stoppage in this second half, which is understandable. It's been a war of attrition.
Hmm.
Again, if there was a time for Elizabeth to take one against the head, now would be a good one, but the away again. Reynolds will find Tuivasa, who's going to put the ball to boot, so he must at least know that he's got at least one time for it to go out.
This could be dangerous, though.
Yeah, Massey, broken rugby again. There's Tuivasa in front of him.
Interesting time to
stolen.
take it.
It is stolen. Port have managed to steal it and come back with it. Now have a relatively short field compared to how they've had in the last couple of minutes. And again, Elizabeth right on there.
Yeah.
And again, yeah, not releasing. He was there immediately.
It was Massey, I think.
I don't think we're going to have too much longer to go.
They must have known there was a bit of time, though, to take that kick.
They must have known they had the time to kick it out.
Yeah,
Now let's the question again, just see whether he'll tap it, and if we see a tap, that will be it. The way that Chapman is walking as well, it suggests that it's over. Everyone's pointing to the sideline.
They've called a scrum.
Well, I think penalty's there. Well, if they're going to go on the last play, it doesn't make a huge amount of sense. But they are still playing.
Geez, they want to hope that Port don't turn it over.
Yeah, if they turn it over and concede now, they would be in a world of trouble with the coach, you would think. Boller at the back. Yep, now he's going to run around and he'll put it out, and that will be it. And Elizabeth win it. 17 points to 10.
What a tough game.
Tell you what, they've had some big wins this year, but to win by 7 points at Port Adelaide, it's certainly how they wouldn't have written it up at the beginning of the day, you wouldn't have thought.
No, I think from Elizabeth's point of view, they knew this was going to be a tough game. It's probably one good one to win. I think Port probably feel a bit unlucky in a couple of things that went against them from what I could hear from my left.
Yeah, but that'll all be forgotten about as we move into Saturday night. But it certainly was, I mean, good game of rugby to watch, but not what we're used to from Elizabeth. And it's
certainly a lot of handling errors. And I think you summed it up when you said they were trying to push too hard, trying to make something happen rather than let it happen.
Right, we'll go and see whether I can find an Elizabeth player. And thank you very much for your time again, Phil. And I'm sure we'll see you again. And I've got a feeling we're going to see you in finals.
I would hope so.
I am going to try and wander out and have a chat with Massey. I don't know how this is going to go. So we'll see how we go. Massey, can I borrow you for 2 seconds? Incredible try. How did you feel about, first of all, probably a little bit tougher than you were expecting?
Yeah, it's pretty a good hard game I have faced, because many players I play now, they read all my plays. So that's for the first half. I didn't do much because they already read my plays. So I believe in the boys for supporting me, and it was a very good game playing against them.
I think, yes, well, first half they just didn't kick to you. And second half, I think they got a little bit lax with that, and you got more chance to counter-attack in the second half.
Yeah, because I was like believing both my inside players. I'd have to let them rush for the first receiver so he can just send it to me. I'm really happy for the boys for the win today, even though we didn't do much. But we are really happy for playing against them today for a good win.
I also think as well we have a lot of viewers in Fiji. There was a lot of viewers in Fiji today, so that's the camera up there. If there's anything you want to say to anyone back in Fiji, now's the time.
First of all, I want to thank the Lord for giving the boys the strength, for us traveling every weekend from Mildura. I know it's pretty hard for us, but we love rugby in the island back in Fiji. So we are so happy for the supporters, for sending your supporters and prayers against the boys. The Lizzie for the win today. Thank you.
Well done. Go and enjoy the rest of your night. Well done. Absolutely wonderful try. Keep an eye on Elizabeth and young Massey as we move towards the business end of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, from a somewhat chilly Port Adelaide Oval, it's been an absolutely fantastic afternoon of rugby. I think we've seen try of the year so far this year, and one of the games of the year so far. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again next week.